Thank you, Professor Kira, for the introduction. And I would like to start off introducing the agents which cause infectious diseases. They are largely categorized into 6 groups. The first one, the virus, for example, the well-known HIV, and bacteria such as the E. coli, the virulent strain can cause bloody diarrhea. And there's also fungi such as pneumocystic gyrovecti, the cause of pneumocystic pneumonia, helminths or the hookworms, and protozoa such as Plasmodium falciparum, the cause of malaria. The last category is the prion, which was recently coined in 1982, that causes transmissible neurodegenerative diseases such as Creutzfeldt-Jakob. So as we can see from the slide, the knowledge of infectious diseases, modes of transmission, diagnosis, prevention and treatment are all very clear to us due to discovery of microbiology and also technological advancement. But have you thought about a few centuries ago when science was not yet well understood? How did mankind handle or deal with diseases? How did mankind understand what were the causes of diseases in the past? So let's go through that throughout this lecture together. Of the infectious disease and human history, as Professor Kihara has introduced, my name is Teeranee, and I am now the Assistant Professor at the Department of Global Health and Socio-Epidemiology at Kyoto University School of Public Health. It is now very close to Gion Matsuri already, and we thought this might be interesting to introduce into the class of infectious disease. The Matsuri, or in English, is known as a festival. It is celebrated annually in Kyoto in July. And not only in Kyoto, Gion Matsuri is famous, among one of the most famous festivals throughout Japan. And it is a very good example of how infectious diseases are weaved into the human history. So what is Gion Festival all about? Kyoto has suffered from many occasions of all kinds of bad omens, including epidemic and natural disasters, such as flood, fire, or earthquakes. So the festival originated approximately 1,100 years ago as a part of purification ritual to appease the gods that were thought to be causing these disasters and epidemics. So as shown in the photo here, maybe you can notice that these are the festival floats, and they have very high pole. In ancient time, it was believed that actually this pole can help clean or filter the air and catch evil substances that was floating around the air. The floats will also be paraded throughout the town so that these tall poles can maybe clean up the whole town, catching the evil substances in the air. Also, the timing of Gion Festival, the fact that it's typically held in mid-July, just right before the summer. Also for people to pray to stop the annual peak of diarrhea and dysentery. I personally took this photo from Yasaka Shrine, and maybe some of you know the shrine for international students. One of the most, Yasaka Shrine is one of the most famous shrines in Kyoto. And there's this charm called Tamaki. And they are very specific to Kyoto, very specific also to only available during the Gion Matsuri. And so what is Tamaki? From the records, the origin of Tamaki is believed to have been a thatch ring that were carried on the waist by Somin Shorai and his descendants. Somin Shorai was a poor man, but one night he warmly welcomed a traveler into his household when this random traveler needed a place to stay for the night. Without knowing that this traveler was actually, in fact, one of the Japanese primary god named Susanoo no Mikoto. And even though Somin Shorai was very poor, he provided to this traveler the best what he could, maybe a bowl of rice, so on and so forth. So in return for this generous act of a poor man, when the god was departing, leaving the house, he presented Tamaki to Somin Shorai. And the god promised him that Somin Shorai and his descendants will forever be protected from diseases and bad omen forever. So the tradition is carried on until today. And holder of Tamaki are considered to be the descendants of Somin Shorai. And I also took this photo on the street of Kyoto. If you can see here, Tamaki are placed in front of the entrance door with the belief that it can protect that particular household from fire or diseases. Also, this is the great Buddha at Todaiji in Nara Prefecture. During the year 729 to 749, Japan suffered from a series of disaster and epidemics. And to prevent those from happening, Emperor at that time, Emperor Shomu, issued an official order to promote the construction of provincial temples throughout the nation. And Todaiji was built as a provincial temple of the present-day Nara Prefecture, and it was also promoted to be the head of all provincial temples throughout Japan, so that people can pray for the prevention of epidemics and disaster. So as we can see here from both examples of Gion Matsuri and Todaiji, we could see that illnesses were believed and considered to be the curse from angry spirits or from other supernatural powers.